Hey guys, this is Turok, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing One Piece chapter 1190. Holy crap, I can't believe we're 10 chapters away from reaching a 100 number like they had. So in this chapter we'll be continuing there, we're right where we left off. We're going to focus entirely on this part here of seeing Luffy, Scopper, and Emu, with a little bit of other characters, but I'm very glad Oda is focusing on this because it's presenting a little more information that is like fleshes out a little bit of stuff over between Emu and stuff and what Scopper knows. So the last chapter when Luffy was had gotten defeated by Emu, really at the end of the chapter before that, and then Emu was slowly trying to kill. Well, it wasn't really slow, I guess. I thought he was kind of toying with him, but it seems like Luffy's just, his vitality is still great. He was getting, that even being skewered, really, a few times was not enough to kill him. And Emu kept pulling out those other swords to other weapons that are. We still don't know if they're like the exact one. No, they must be replicas because the original ones should be the ones that are in front of his throne. And I went over that too. I brought up that image from the anime, and you can see you can see a lot of the. If you look closely at the guards on the swords, especially, you can see which weapons he was pulling out. I just should have made maybe I could do that as like a post. Can I post pictures on YouTube? I was thinking I want to do like an image of that. I wanted to like circle each of the main swords. There was like 4 or so he pulled out in the last chapter. Where is that? And you can see, yeah, you got like this one here, and there were a couple others. You could see you could see these swords in that episode. I think it was 1119. The episode. I forget what chapter that was in the manga right now. And yeah, so let's see, where was it? Yeah, and then there was a little flashback. Yeah, then he finally pulled out an axe, and right when he does that, that's when Scopper comes and stops with his axes. I don't know if I brought this up with the axes, but I know we talked about this before with grading weapons. How Oda has the grades, the Mados in the One Piece world. I wonder too if these axes of Scopper's count as one of those Mado graded weapons. Likewise, we were talking about it's the same thing with wondering if Kaido's Kanabo or Big Mom's sword, Napoleon, which is also a homie though, would count too, because we wielded by some of the strongest characters, and they hockey it and they use it. They've used it a long time. Like Kaido's been using them Kanabos like that since he was a little kid. I don't know if we've shown exactly when Big Mom had Napoleon first, but I'm sure she probably had it by the time she was working with rocks. So some 44 years or so, she's probably had Napoleon as a weapon. So it's like when and again, so yeah, back to Scopper too. Do other weapons like those, like kanabos or axes, count among those things? Because so far, everything that's like at the top Mado one, is it the Saijo Owazumono? Anyways, I know there's the Shodai Kitetsu, there's Ace, there's Black. Well, I guess it could, because Whitebeard's weapon. No, that's kind of it's a Bicento, but it's got a blade on it. It's counted among them, and then there's also the last two are what was it? There's Yoru, that is Mihawk's sword, and whatever the one is called, I don't know the name right now, but Fujitori's cane sword also counts as one of those weapons now. So if we were to count like each of his axes, then Big Mom and Kaido's weapons, then we got 4. That would put it up to 9 weapons, 9 out of 12. But maybe they would still count as far as that level of strength, but maybe they would be in a separate category for non-sword-like weapons. So, and the remaining how many 7, the remaining 7 slots in the top would be reserved maybe for only other sword-like weapons instead. And so now we're going to get back into this, and we start. Well, first also I want to show the cute cover story. What I got it here? The covers. It's not a cover story, right? Oda hasn't done a cover story in a while. He's just doing these requests here, and this one is what do you call it? These art requests, and this one is Shanks and Luffy together, probably in Fuchsia Village then. Yeah, there's the windmill there. And they're cooking, grilling up fish, and then these cats are smelling it and coming to get some too. And this is cute too, because you can see this is before Shanks left, and before the incident with the bandit and the Lord of the Coast where he lost his arm. He's still cooking here with both his arms now, which also means too, by the way too, because we know now where he had the covenant he had from Emu. We still never seen him with in the time since he leaves the Holy Land until he loses his arm. We always just see him using this kind of outfit, the cloak and the loose shirt. So we never see we've never seen his left arm there. And Oda, now it's really funny to think back like how Oda cleverly kept him in long sleeves like this or something else on back then, so that was the tattoo of the covenant was there the whole time. So we're getting right where we left off with Emu and who he was about to. He's bringing that axe down to finish Luffy, and Scopper stopped him with his axes, and we just get them staring at each other. And Emu just like is confused, like, okay, who is this guy now getting in my way? And the attack, right? Was that from the backlash of the attacks, right? There's so much that the tree Luffy's on was pierced into, just breaks apart into several little pieces of the smaller pieces from the waves of energy or inertia, kind of from the weapons coming together like that. So Luffy's still flying away. He's still attached to part of the tree there, and then he's still flying over. Yeah, the swords are in him there. Yeah, those are swords. If you look back, yeah, like I said, those are different guards there. Yeah, wasn't there a third one? Oh, I think there's a third one there, but it doesn't show up when he drew this panel. So, then he starts, it looks like Luffy falls off there. I know, because Oda, he's going to pick him up in a moment. But, so the swords just go flying away. They fall out of Luffy, and he's just like, dang it, and I'm still bleeding. And so then Emu, also here we have to make note, looks like he's still having this like heavy breathing that they've been showing for a while. Since he was fighting with Loki, he's doing these amazing attacks, but he's also like, it's hard to say how much like this is just him being in the immortal world, or if he's running out of steam. Because I'm thinking because he doesn't like do this kind of fighting much, I'm thinking his stamina may not be that great for longer fights. But he tries to swing his axe at Scopper, and Scopper just like does this spinning thing here, and he just dodges the attack and then jumps up into a branch above Emu, and then this is where the conversation starts beginning. And he's like, oh, look at you, you're a hideous sight. You look like nothing that could come from the mortal world. And I'm still thinking, okay, yeah, that's partially true, but like, for me, it's like he still looks like just this really weird Lunarian. And I'm hoping that there'll be some explanation of this soon, but we haven't, nothing here in this chapter does not explain it yet. And then so Emu's like, who are you? And of course he's doing it the other way, but I'm just going to I might simplify it sometimes just accidentally. Who art thou? I like how he does it's kind of Shakespearean style English that we know. And he's like, I'm one who knows the world. He's like basically saying like, I've seen a lot of things in the world and you don't look like anything I've ever seen yet. So it's kind of saying too like, feels weird to think I've traveled all the seas and never saw something like you. What is it with you? And then so Scopper gets down though and then turns his attention briefly to Luffy because he's still nearby. And he picks up Luffy and like, get up, Straw Hat. You're not dead yet. You have to get back up. And Luffy, because he's got all these holes in him, he's like, wait, let go. I'm hurting. Can't you see that? And Scopper's like, I'm so disappointed in you. Aren't you ashamed of getting saved by an injured old man like me? He said, with this new white form and your status as Emperor of the Sea, don't get full of yourself because of those things. And Luffy's like, just let me go. Ow. So Scopper's basically giving this tough talk here. Then so he's going on like, do you want to die here? And Luffy's like, I'm not going to die. Ow, please let go. He's like, yeah, you're a dead man walking. It's so pathetic. What happens next after you're dead? And he's like, and Luffy's like, oh, and it's just like Luffy's like, you're right. I have to get back up, because otherwise I can't protect my friend's country. And then Scopper's like, good. And it will happen to your crew if you're dead. And Luffy goes, their lives will be in danger. And Scopper's like, correct. Now listen closely. On the sea, the more you rise in the ranks, the more enemies you create. The King of the Pirates is a title for those whose death will bring, when you die, will bring celebration to the others. So others who will covet his position. So like if Luffy died out, for example, you can just see Captain Kidd laughing his ass off, and if he saw news in the paper, of course he don't have a ship or anything now to do that, but like as soon as he saw Luffy was labeled as a emperor, he tried to go after Luffy in the flower capital in Wano. And he's like, Scopper goes on again. Everyone wants that seat, and this is the part I really like this in this way, because this is how Luffy's been. What Scopper's describing here, he's like, if you imagine you can be the king of the pirates with nothing but peace and sunshine and rainbows. Save us all the trouble and go home. You're not cut out for this. And he just throws him away. He throws him. This is a way like to get him out of the way, because he's gonna start fighting Emu with all his ferocity in a moment. And he doesn't want to cut Luffy up. And he's like, "So get out of my way, brat!" And he throws him. But I want to stop here a second, because this is how Luffy doesn't seem to understand. Hasn't considered, I think, the consequences and the baggage, so to speak, that will come with being king of the pirates. He doesn't understand how many other people want to find the One Piece. This has been going on since he was even before he was born. So it's been, I think, 25 years, they said, since one. I think that's how Dolphin away. I thought it was always 24, but it's 25 or so years since Roger died, and he announced about, hey, find my treasure. I left it in the One Piece. And everyone started, and so that's like 5 or 6 years before Luffy was born. Luffy, this is always like, whenever other people bring up, I'll bring King of the Pirates, that really ticks Luffy off. And he's like, no, you can't do that. I'll be King of the Pirates. And if I was there talking to Luffy in the One Piece world, I would say to him, Luffy, because Luffy's always about this, like, everyone has dreams and you shouldn't, desecrate them, defecate them. I can't think of the word, but like, but like, I would say to Luffy, Luffy, sometimes people have the same dreams. Maybe that means, and so eventually, yes, someone else may not get that dream, achieve that dream. I think you'll be the one to be the final laugh zone. That doesn't mean the other people can't proclaim that too. You can't, like, do you want to take away their dreams and tell them they can't express it, I guess? Because he always gets mad when, what was the last time he got mad about that? I know when Law and him and Kid were fighting the Marines at Sabaody. I don't think one of them brought it up, but he said, but I'll be king of the pirates. And the other two were like, okay, he does have some determination. And then when Horty said something about that too, being king or something, like Luffy got really mad at that. And that's when he used his Conqueror's Haki and knocked out all the soldiers, which was a cool moment. But like, it really, like, yeah, the way Luffy, like, wants to have that dream alone is very, almost juvenile, I guess. And so back to this, he just thinks, if I become king of the pirates, I'll just have a great big party with everyone. I'll be all sunshines and rainbows. And this is like, no, everyone's going to come after you again, even more. Kid already wants to come after him. So with that, my new glasses just arrived. The ones I've been wearing the last few days, they were just the ones I wore, I got years ago, and I had to, the backups I had, while these other ones were getting replaced. The other ones had a big snap right there, and they had one snap already, and then the other one snapped the other day when it dropped in my garage. So anyways, I don't want Luffy to lose, like, his whole happy-go-lucky attitude. It's part of his charm, but this has always been something that's kind of annoyed me about Luffy, where he doesn't understand those consequences of, like he's not thinking about kind of like the danger he could potentially put in his crew in by being king of the pirates too. Like this is one of the things I was thinking about too. Like when if the Straw Hats like disband temporarily or technically or permanent, not permanently, but and they all go about their own uh, goals elsewhere. So if like Choppers goes back to Drum Island, he keeps studying medicine there. Nami starts going to other blues and Charten Islands, and Sanji sets up a restaurant somewhere. Other people uh, who may want to get after Luffy, maybe draw him out, so to speak, to fight him for his title of King of the Pirates, would probably, might go after one of them and try to kill him and harm them to make Luffy come out and like say leave the safety of wherever he might be. Like say he's staying on Amazon Lily and they because other pirate ships can't get there because it's in the Conch Belt, and they say, oh well, we'll make Luffy come to us. We'll find Nami in the North Blue and say she was there at the time charting islands, and we'll attack her because she's one of the weakest, so to speak. She's be easier target comparatively to like Zoro or Sanji. I can see that kind of stuff happening, and I don't think Luffy's ever considered that. And I know he thinks about like, oh, my friends are really tough. Like this was kind of brought up once, something like this when Law's alliance, when he decided he was going to have to do the alliance with Law. And he's like, oh, don't worry, guys. I know we can do it together, guys, because I know you guys got a lot stronger. So he thinks about it that way, but like, it's like there's no ounce of fear, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And you sometimes I think need just a bit of that to like really keep in frame your goals and then their safety. He reminds me of like kind of like Bruce Wayne in Batman, where he in the Dark Knight ones by Christopher Nolan, where he didn't really think of the consequences of going after the mob and what they would do. And then Alfred was telling him, like, you brought this happening there. Like you kept pushing the mob, you kept like squeezing them, so to speak, like stopping all their being able to do their activities. And so in their desperation, they turned to a man they didn't understand. And then like later, he also talks about like, that other blind man tells him, you need to have a little bit of fear. Like, how can you fight longer than possible and fast as possible, whatever, without the most like primal thing of the human like nature, the fear of death and stuff like that. And I think Luffy does think about that sometimes when he has to protect his friends, but it's just sometimes he's like not considering the other stuff. So I really enjoyed his this speech here, and I hope he takes it to heart a little bit. These potential consequences and dangers that with what he wants to do. And so he throws Luffy. We see Luffy flying away. Emu's just letting this happen. He just kind of like, okay, whatever, I'll get him later. And then Luffy just is getting mad, like, oh, that stupid old man talking trash about me, I'll show you. Like Luffy just sounds like a little kid again. He does not like when people talk trash about him either. I forgot about that. So now the fight begins with a Scopper and Emu right away. And he pulls out his axes together, and he does this thing called Mantis Axe style. And I liked how Oda made sure he drew a little silhouette of a mantis, although it looks just a little bit, actually looks less creepy in a way. Mantises, if you ever look at them up close, I think they're amazing creatures. I've seen one up close a few years ago. I think, where did I see it? I was somewhere here. Was it on my house? And I seen one up close. I got pictures somewhere. And I've seen other ones over the years. And they are amazing looking creatures. Them and like the stick insects, I think they're fascinating. But when you look at their face, being up close to something like that would probably scare me more than like something like I was rewatching Jurassic Park a while back, and I was thinking, oh, those dinosaurs are kind of creepy. When the Velociraptor looks at you, they kind of they kind of designed to look menacing, but they're nothing compared to how menacing looking at like the cold stares of like a praying mantis or a spider too. There was like this documentary show about tarantulas when I was a kid, and I always was creeped out that the cameramen, they would do these little close-ups of their eyes, and it was like, oh, it's just how cold they are. And so I kind of like that Oda drew this mantis here with a regular human face, so to speak. in the little teeth instead of drawing how they really look. So he's fighting. He's swinging his axes at him, but Emu is like, even with Scopper's attacks out getting, he's what do you call it, parrying them. Emu's looking very bored here, and he's like, "Oh, is this a joke to thee?" I'm thinking he's partially saying, like, "Are you really trying your hardest, or are you just gonna try and toy? Am I gonna have to really like hurt you?" And but Scopper's like, "Well, you want to kill him, don't you?" And Emu's like, "Yes, of course I do." And so Luffy's still over there. Well, so we focus on Luffy to frame that, and so then he must have over. Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking the way he's saying this, he must have seen some. I wonder if when they were at Laughter, there was something there, like a mural or something, kind of like we saw with here and the one that Frankie saw here that showed Joy Boy, because he also when he saw Luffy transform the first time when he was testing him in the castle, the Royal Herald's castle, the August or something like that, he wanted to see that form, and so he says here though, like, oh, he says to Nemo, oh, he really does remind you of him, doesn't he? He reminds you of Joy Boy. And then Emu was like, wait a minute, how the hell do you know that? And he's like, who are you? And then he pulls out a new sword. And I like the name of this one. I looked it up. This is called Hanebame Toshiro. Hanebame. And where is it? I got it here. This is a historical Japanese wakizashi that was forged by a legendary smith, Awara Guchi Yoshimitsu, excuse me, in 1259. So is it still around? And so its name means, it originally was meant to be a naginata, which is like a Whitebeard wielded, and it was made into a short sword. And its name means bone eater. So apparently it was so sharp, it was said it could clean through bone. Because that's something interesting too. I guess that blades can't always cut through bone. I always assumed they could because I just watched so much anime stuff. But I was watching that one anime. Oh, I can't think of the name of it now. But it's where this guy's sent to this prisoner. He used to be like an enforcer for like the Yakuza or something like that. And he's sent to this island to find some kind of what do you call it? Some legendary, like some fountain of youth type thing. And there's a thing in there where this other female character, this other main character, she is an executor. So she like executes prisoners. And they explain in there, I never thought about this until I watched that show, how, I'll look up the name of the show. I don't think I actually finished it either, but I would have had another season. Oh, anyways, they explain in there when she has to kill a prisoner, when she's ordered to execute him, they have to do it just right, where she tries to cut between the spine bones. She cuts where like the disc would be, in order to try not to damage the sword. So bone apparently is strong enough that it could stop a blade, even if you swiftly do it. And that way, it's also a clean cut through the body, and it would just sever the head right away. And obviously, they didn't have guillotines, I guess, because I think the guillotine wasn't invented until the French Revolution, which was like the late 1700s. That's interesting to think about. That's probably where again, this looks like it was this sword is it still around? Let's see. Or did it disappear? Is it in a museum or something? Where is it? It survived many major historical fires, including the fall of the Osaka Castle in 1615. Another fire. Yeah, where is it though in there? Okay, I'll look it up later. Okay, anyway, so yeah, he pulls this sword out. So Oda's like having remember there's 18 other allies other than him. Emu supposedly is one of the 20, and then we know Lily left. We don't know if he still has her weapon either. Actually, I know Tekking made a video about that, Tekking 101, and I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, he's pulling. I like that Oda's using various styles of weapons, showing there was a very, I guess you could say, diverse number of rulers who joined in the alliance in the war against the ancient kingdom. And so he had like the axe was the axe he's been wielding there is a Chinese axe, and then the other swords we looked them up. One was supposed to be from, I think, the a Scandinavian mythology, and I forget what the fourth one was from. The other one he used to skewer Luffy. And so this one, yeah, he pulls out now a Japanese one. This isn't, again, it's not a katana. It's the short sword. Gotta keep reminding myself of that too. Sometimes I'm just so used to using the regular katanas, but they do have those shorter ones. And so he starts fighting with that sword, but Scopper's doing a good job of fighting back. This one starts emanating. I wonder if this is almost like a cursed sword, because now this is something new here. It's kind of like the flame things, but now it's got a completely different face than the more animated and silly looking flame things that like he would I flicked them or whatever and used them on Loki and Luffy. And yeah, it looks almost like a demonic ooze dragon thing, and it's flying around. But Scopper's using both his axes to like. So yeah, now also Emu's dual wielding as well. He's still got the axe. I'm just gonna say the axe. I forgot how the name goes. I gotta listen to how that one's pronounced by somebody else. So now he's got Hanabami, and now and the axe, and he's swings with that one at Scopper to see if he can get anywhere. But and then Emu asks him like, "What do you know?" And he's like, "I the words of Joy Boys," is how he simply responds. So he's thinking about something here. We'll get more into it. He kind of hints at something he read, but then he says, "Though, don't get me wrong, though. I'm not some guy who's just gonna blindly be obedient to some guy in the past that I never even and then obviously didn't meet. I just want to see our captain's dream brought to light." And now Emu's coughing again. So there's even blood there. I didn't really notice that part, but he's starting to get hurt. So yes, him being here in the mortal world, in the lower world, so to speak, as they call it, is hurting him somehow. I wonder if this is where the whole thing came to fruition too, with the other celestial dragons thinking they should not have to breathe the same air as as other humans because he literally can't. But I'm wondering, was being in the higher altitude the cause of this, or I'm still kind of convinced at this point that other form we've always seen him in was some kind of veil, some protection from him having to breathe in air, some supernatural form of, where the celestial dragons are wearing a scuba suit type thingy. His thing was a supernatural filter, let's say, protecting him from the breathing in normal air. That maybe oxygen is alien to. Maybe he is something from the moon. Maybe the Lunarians are from the moon. But why is it that King didn't have this problem? That's the question. I'm wondering too if this has something more to do with his power as well. If he is a Lunarian, yeah, it's like he's not. Maybe he's a Lunarian that never adapted to the oxygen, and King's comes from descendants that did. And so we go back to Luffy briefly, and he's like, he's still seething over what Scopper said to him. Like, I'm gonna get that old man for making fun of me. So he's just like, I don't know how he's healing up. He's like, I just need a little moment to get better. And so Scopper, we have this big badom, and he's like, my captain was the king of pirates, Gold D. Roger. And I like that he doesn't say Gold Roger. He does the D. He really emphasizes that. Of course, this catches Emu's attention, and we go to a little flashback. We see just the silhouette thing from the throne. So he says, so we go back, and this is probably after. So this has got to be about 27 years ago or so, something like that. Because when did Roger find Raftel? Was it 25 years ago? Yeah, okay, maybe it was 25. Oh no, I think I know what I said wrong earlier, right? It was 24 years ago. Old Roger did die, but it was the year before he found Raftel. I'm thinking back to how Doflamingo was saying that and talking to Suru, and when he was being taken to impound out. So it's I think it was 25 years ago he found Lafdol. It was reported. So and this is around that time, and he's having a little convening with the the Gorosei. You can see there's Saturn there. You can tell by his hair. And there's the Ethan with the Shodai Kitetsu. And he's like, this disgusts me. He's talking to him. He's like, this. I don't know if he's yelling this or if he's still in his calm voice. And they're like, I can't believe, why is someone with the D been named the king of the pirates? Stop this. You must stop him now. Spread not that name is how it's reached here. And it's like, he's like, also I'm thinking though, why would you care if he's king of the pirates? It's like, I could see if you, for one thing, he doesn't want anyone to know about the D thing or think about that. I get that. But like, the thing is that like, if I were him, I would think, I'd be more mad thinking of if like he had, Roger or anyone else with a D would be, named a king of a new country. So like, like having Kuma, when Kuma kicks out that nasty king in his kingdom, where he grew up, what if Kuma was a D guy? What if someone like that with the D had been named the new king? That I could see, like one of our nations in our thing has a D in it. Oh, how could they? So that he didn't know, for example, until just recently about Vivi and her family, her and Cobra's family, them being the D. And so once he found it out, that really ticked him off. I think he would have killed them a long time ago, one of their ancestors going back, if he would have known that. So like that would say like right back when Lily's brother took the throne, who's like Vivi and Cobra's great ancestor. It was Lily's brother, I think they said. He knew that Lily's brother was the D, and same with Lily. He would have probably just killed him right there. But anyway, so the flashback just ends, and so he wanted them to basically probably like double, triple their efforts to like bring Roger in. Because they're already trying to hunt him at that point. We saw, Garp had been trying to go after him for years, for decades there. Probably already like 2 decades at that point by the time Roger became king of the pirates, but they just couldn't catch him. They couldn't defeat him. And so Imu goes on, I see. That man who turned this into an era of piracy. And so he's like, well, I'm confused. Why would remnants of his crew want to protect Straw Hat Luffy? And when Scopper says, isn't it enough? I'm just going to protect him because you're going to try and eliminate him. You obviously see him as a threat. So he says how do you say it? So it says, if you see him, it's proof enough that by you seeing him as a threat, firstly, I'm going to go with this part and I'll go back. He's like, then you're proving to us that this is the very man that we've all been waiting for. And it shows him and Rayleigh and Crocus, who are the main members of the Rogers crew that we've seen so far, are still a lot around. And then we switched to seeing silhouettes of Odin and Whitebeard and Shanks. And it's just like, they're all the same thing. Because that was like the words of them. Because Odin went, of course, Shanks didn't go to one rafter, that's right. But he knows about the captain's dream. But Odin and Whitebeard obviously never went there either. But these four did. Remember, Odin was first on Whitebeard's crew, but then he went Roger, and because he wanted to go help him read the poneglyphs that he kept finding around the world at the time, and of course Whitebeard learned. Roger told Whitebeard pretty much everything that he discovered there, and that was even one of his last words. He said went to the teach. I can tell you are not the man Roger is waiting for. So that was very poignant. I'm glad they bring it up that way because of how Whitebeard had brought that up. So something, I'm thinking, my main thing here is back to what Rayleigh said, because he recognized, he said, oh, you got that white form that Luffy has. So I'm thinking that could be one of the things Whitebeard meant too. Like, you have to have this specific power, perhaps, on top of like having certain traits to be the one who will be the right person to go to Raftel, because of wanting freedom and stuff like that, rather than Whitebeard, who wants to like terrorize the world. So like Whitebeard has certain traits similar to Luffy. He does have that same thing about, hey, don't don't stomp on other people's dreams. He said that to Aokiji recently when they captured Kobe. And but we go back here. I'm gonna go back now because I wanted to do this this little flashback after. So this must have been after they left Rafto. And the text sounds a little weird in the way, to me, how it's reading. It's Roger talking to the crew like, someone will be born who will eventually surpass us. I think it's meant more to mean like someone, and he says we were just too early. It sounds more to me like he means, well, someday we were just too early to be the ones to fully crack the egg or learn all the secrets of Rafto. It just we weren't meant to be the ones to do it. And so yeah, they know someone. So they've been all thinking, oh, someone will come someday and fulfill this thing. And it's interesting they bring up Whitebeard about it, because I know Whitebeard didn't really care about learning anything like that. But I'm wondering now if that's part of the reason he thought he wanted to also help Ace along, thinking maybe, oh, you're so much like your father. I want to protect you as well, because maybe you'll fulfill his dream someday. Like maybe Whitebeard, well, he's thinking, I know I'm not the one. Whitebeard maybe then kind of realized in a way, oh, I'm not the one who can go there. Why should I bother? I'm not gonna. If I'm not the one, at least I can help protect the one who might go there someday. So when he thinking of Ace, and then when he saw how Luffy is at Marineford, he's even to San Marco, let's protect that kid. And also because he remember how Shanks talked about him. He realized that was what Shanks was talking about. I like that Whitebeard's probably thinking, how do you say? He even said that when he died too. In his last speech, he's like, oh, someone will throw down the gauntlet or unleash the shackles or something of the world, with the world's knowing, there's just all this injustice in the world, and someone will be the one to do it. Maybe it'll be Ace, or maybe it'll be Luffy. And so I like that he's like thinking, I'll help along the next generation at the very least. He's always wanted to protect people that way, and just protect orphans and as well. And so now Imu's kind of like, yes, he says we have been foolish. I think he's referring more to himself. I was thinking, was he meaning the Gorosei? I think he's doing this duality thing, and there's something else with him. And he's like, I think he's kind of basically saying too, like, oh, I've been too lax and trying to not getting rid of you guys until now. Again, I was thinking too, why haven't you just had the D people killed off more often? Well, he kind of did. We saw that's what happened to Clover's brother. So he lied about his name for a long time. So sometimes he was, but why? I guess I'm thinking it more because of Garp. But maybe once Garp, I wonder if no one just reported to Imu until Garp became very famous that he had the D. I wonder if he was really trying to cull all the D people, like we saw with Clover and his brother. Because also, like I said, Lily's family has been hiding the D name. I'm sure. I would bet that Lily's brother purposely never said D again, and just never told his children, and then on and on and on down to Cobra. No one ever understood that. Or some of them might have when they read the letter. That's right, because Cobra had that letter. So the others probably just at some point would learn that as each subsequent generation was born, starting with Lily's brother. They might have just said, hey, you have to learn this someday. You have to keep this letter, but you can't bring it up. It's very important, or the world government will kill us. And when maybe starting with Lily's brother, that's what happened. But I feel like Vivi didn't know that yet. Yeah, probably not. Cobra probably was waiting at that time at some point there to tell Vivi someday the same thing. I have to tell you this important thing. We are part of an important family that's considered the enemy to the Celestial Dragons. He's like, so now he's focused. He looks toward Luffy, and one of those flames have shown up again. So now he's thinking, okay, I gotta get rid of Luffy now before I think he's kind of thinking I'm not gonna waste my time fighting you until I kill him. So he goes and focuses on Luffy, and so one of those flames are about to explode on him. So I'm surprised that the flame thing didn't blow up right away, but I guess maybe I guess the way I understand it is Scopper jumps up very quickly here in order to distract Imu from detonating that flame on Luffy. And then he said, I'm sorry about this one, Jewel Tree Atom. I didn't want to eat you, or meaning hurt you. And then he starts charging up Haki. And so he gets ready this powerful attack, and he's like, crap. This one's going to hurt my creaky joints. sucks getting old. And now Luffy's trying to get back up while this is happening. And so now Emu gets one of the bell flames out, and he prepares a shield, and Scopper releases this attack onto Emu called the Gate of God. And this artwork here is so cool. And it's like, so he's got like lightning. He's probably wielding Conqueror's hockey with it, I think. But Emu here creates a perfect shield here again. And this is like the hardest thing now. Yeah, we're finally dealing with an enemy who can just like shield attacks. This is kind of the thing I've been worried about too. Like when Luffy fights Blackbeard, I was thinking like, I wasn't thinking of it as a shield so much like this though, but close enough where like he would could use his darkness fruit to create things like this. The waves, I was thinking more like to nullify Luffy's turning the ground into rubber, kind of like we saw when he fought Kaido. He was like, when he transforms that second time, and the ground starts going around, bouncing under Kaido. I'm thinking if Blackbeard can releases a circle of the darkness, that area will like everything around him outside that will bounce, and just like, and then right in front of him, say it's like 10 feet or something diameter in different directions. It's like this stays flat. But he's just, so this is probably like one of his ultimate attacks, and it just does nothing. And instead, everything around it, the whole branch here is getting sliced up. And so we do see though here that Emu looks very like getting worn out, like that attack. Creating that shield is wearing him out faster, and he's starting to struggle. And so Scopper's still in the air, and Emu's like, he said, you're still, I can tell, even though decrepit, you must have been one of the Pirate King's crew. Like, I think he's just trying to say, like acknowledging his strength as a human being. Yeah, now Scopper's even starting to breathe heavy. Because remember, too, he's all bandaged up. That's right. He got skewered himself by Gunko or Shiri's power when he was fighting her, when he tried to protect Colin and the other kids. And he said, are you really so determined to believe in Joy Boy or in your captain and stuff like that? And is that... Oh, okay. I thought this was Scopper's attack at first, but no. Wait, is that his attack? Or I feel like, no, maybe this is I think this is actually Emu's attack. So he starts swinging. Is he like swinging his sword around? I thought this was like Scopper swinging, but I think it's the other way around. And then so Scopper maybe looks like he's more like shielding himself. Yeah, it has to be because the blade. Okay, yeah. Well, maybe this was Scopper's attack, but the black thing is here from the Hanabami sword. Maybe they're both attacking. Is this supposed to be his words? I think that maybe they're both attacking at the same time. It looks like Scopper loses this exchange. Yeah, there's something coming down on him too. And so this part was a little confusing. So like they're still they're fighting here, and he's just like, you aren't. I don't know what he means by that. Like, you can't believe. But we switch. We're right near the end here, and we go to the underworld briefly, and we see the branch parts. Okay, I think that is supposed to be Scopper falling. The way Oda did this, cut this short, like he's kind of cutting this chapter short. Not short, but like the scene short because this is right near the end of the pages. And I think that's supposed to be Scopper falling down. So we go to the underworld again, and those branches were all cut up by their attacks. That's starting with Scopper when he used the Gate of God. And we just see them dropping down on the snow and everything. Yeah, this is the last page. And we switch to the Straw Hats where they're watching here. So this is the group with Jinbei, Nami, Usopp, Robin is not there. Chopper and Robin were there, but I think they're probably back at the library now. Yeah, I think it's just Usopp, Nami, and Jinbei are there. But then, as far as the Straw Hats, and there's also, of course, Ragnar, Gerd, and Loki are there. And as you can see, that she's treating Loki still. And so they're hearing all those noise from those attacks, and so Nami's like, wait, was that Luffy? And because Usopp, he's got amazing observation hockey. He's sensing what's going on from over there here. And he's like, no, there was someone else up there fighting, someone devastatingly strong. So he's able to sense, like he said, So now we're at this point here where observation hockey, it's the same as we see in, we see this a lot in Dragon Ball Z, where characters, once they learn how to sense energies, they can sense what's more or less happening when fights, when dips and lows of attacks, taking attacks and powering up, can from far away. So characters like Frieza can't, but like when Goku was on Planet Namek, after him and Vegeta and the others defeated the Ginyu Force, Goku was like looking around, he could like sense where Frieza was, like, oh, I sense a great power that way and stuff like that. So Usopp's doing the same thing here. He's feeling the fight happening with Luffy's. Like he said, when Luffy got hurt 2 chapters ago, when he first got skewered through by Emu, he looked and he's like, oh my god, Luffy's life force is kind of like weakening or fading, and he was just really concerned. So he's been feeling what's going on here obviously with Scopper, and we just go to this last shot here, and then right there with Scopper just laying down. Oh, his arm's even cut off. I didn't even catch that the first time. I thought he just passed out, but no, he got his arm cut off here, and good golly, I wonder if Chopper can put that back on quickly, because he just did that. That was one thing I wasn't expecting. Apparently he stitched up Gert's fingers, because she got like 2 or 3 of her fingers in the middle of her left hand cut off when Emu attacked and took and freed. She was holding Summers at the time, but and stopped. Chopper said, I stitched it back up. It'll take a long time for it to heal, and his arm is still right there. But yeah, then we just switched to Luffy, like, old man, what happened? Are you okay? And it just like ends right there. I think there's a break now, so like, damn it, now we gotta wait 2 weeks again for this. I was just saying in the anime episode yesterday, like, oh, hopefully sometimes it feels like Oda does like 2 chapters close together, then a break. But now we're doing more breaks recently. But the artwork is worth it. He's like doing a great job here. And so like, dang, Scopper did everything he could, and it still wasn't enough. And he's injured. I don't even know if he hadn't been injured, it would have been enough. But yeah, so he put up a good fight against Emu, but it just was not enough. This shielding thing, I'm thinking the only way Luffy's gonna probably win here. I don't know what else Luffy's gonna pull. Hopefully he'll become serious in this next part of this fight. What people were pointing out was like Luffy doesn't seem very serious. And he like turned into the genie form, and he like was goofing around a bit. And he's like, and Emu even said to him too, are you seriously trying to transform into a giant form? You saw how much of a target that can make you, right? Like I did to Loki. And so, but I think part of what's going to happen here, where Emu might lose this round, so to speak, or lose this battle, and hope if he weakens enough here, if his stamina and stuff weaken, Luffy might be able to get a good shot in again without him being able to shield himself like that. But yeah, this was very interesting how Scopper's like bringing up the Joy Boy stuff, and it's like, okay, so there is something there. There's something in the records that talk about Joy Boy's power that Scopper and the others learned when they were at Raftel, or maybe when they were at one of the other read the other poneglyphs that told what they needed to know. And so he's talks about Roger's dream too. He didn't elaborate on it, but I hope they will a little bit later. I'm thinking that'll be something at the end of this arc. He'll probably reveal a little bit of like something that gives a clue of what they found at Raftel. Not like directly what they found, but like the thing associated with the dream. I'm hoping he'll bring up something there that talks about what he means by the dream that will like probably, I think it will be similar along lines to what Whitebeard said before he died, about how that will free us from everyone from the shackles of the world government's, totalitarian thing. Because there's like that subtle stuff there. We start seeing more of that with like both with Ennie's lobby and how they go after people like Robin, and then when we saw how the Celestial Dragons are allowed to do almost anything they want, that there's this subtle bullshit here where like, oh, everyone else thinks, oh, the world government protects us. The Marines kept us from, the pirates, but don't cross those celestial dragons, and don't let, if they catch you, no one can stop them. So like there's probably something else there to that dream. Like maybe Roger's dream is just like, yeah, to have someone. Roger's dream, right, to me, that'll be as simple as like simply thinking, oh, I gotta, if we I just want someone to find Raftel and be able to fully crack open, like release some truth to the world. It'll be like this thing where like it almost feels like whatever's gonna happen there. It's kind of like that moment where like in the but in a more to the whole population where in the story in the Bible where Eve eats the apple from the tree of knowledge and she suddenly like knows other stuff in that. But that was a double-edged sword because then she felt shame because she's like naked and stuff like that. But I just feel like there's going to be something to that effect where it's going to open up this thing that's going to like everyone's going to be like, why we had not realized this before? There's some kind of like something clicks in everyone whenever is there, because like Roger couldn't do it obviously and that's why no one else has had that. But like there's something to that, and yeah, this speech with Rayleigh and to Luffy was really satisfying. I hope Luffy again takes that to heart. And I don't know how Luffy's gonna fight though. He's got a hole in him too. Everyone's getting holes in them. It's like, so what is it? Scopper, Loki, and Luffy have all got skewered in this thing, and it's like, geez, crazy. They almost need to be more like Brook, because Brook almost got stabbed at one time by all those Big Mom's soldiers, and then like I felt like some of them just like missed and went through his ribs or whatever like that because he doesn't have a flesh anymore. But yeah, this was a very cool fight. Anyways, I'm gonna leave this here today because I got an appointment to get to soon. But holy crap! Thanks for watching.